Falcons fans, stop scrolling. Because the entire story around Michael Penix Jr.'s injury has just flipped, and this one piece of news might save our season. For days we've been drowning in panic, fear, and worst-case scenarios, but tonight, for the first time in weeks, there is real hope. And you're about to hear the truth the national media didn't tell you. For the past 72 hours, Falcons fans everywhere have been stuck in the same emotional storm: confusion, fear, panic, and that terrible feeling in your stomach when you think your season is slipping away. Every headline screamed the same thing: ACL tear, season over, major concern. It felt like everywhere you turned, someone else was throwing more negativity on the fire. But now, take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Because for the first time, we finally have real, verified, legitimate good news, not that my cousin's barber said he heard something type of Twitter rumors. This comes from someone who knows what he's talking about, Dr. David Chow, one of the most trusted injury experts in football. And what he said completely changes everything. When he broke down the play, the hit, the angle, the knee movement, the force, he immediately pointed out something the internet completely missed. He said the biggest headline being pushed across social media was flat out wrong. Dr. Chow didn't hesitate. He didn't dance around the question. He dropped a bomb. This is not an ACL injury in any way, shape, or form. Just imagine hearing that after the emotional roller coaster we've been riding. ESPN made it sound like Penix's ACL was hanging on by a thread. Twitter made it sound like his season, and maybe even his future, was over. But according to Dr. Chow, none of the classic ACL tear signs were there. No typical knee mechanics. No alignment with how ACLs usually tear. Zero evidence pointing toward that kind of injury. So what actually happened? Dr. Chow explained that the injury matches a PCL sprain, a completely different situation. Yes, technically a sprain is a tear, but in football terms, a PCL sprain is light years away from the catastrophic scenario fans were fearing. A PCL sprain rarely requires surgery, often comes with a bone bruise, heals with rest, and time is painful and annoying, but not career-threatening. He even compared it to this: your house isn't burning down, you just burned dinner. It's still frustrating, still disappointing, still a mess, but the structure is perfectly fine. For Falcons fans, that means the world. It means hope isn't dead. It means the story isn't over. It means the injury the internet screamed about was never what it seemed. This is the first step toward breathing again, but now the big question everyone keeps asking is this: where did all that scary ACL talk even come from? Why did the entire football world suddenly panic like the sky was falling? Well, here's where the story takes a wild turn. Dr. David Chow explained something that honestly shocked a lot of people. He said the reason everyone was yelling ACL tear wasn't because of this new hit. It wasn't even because the injury looked like an ACL situation. It was because of something old, something pre-existing inside Penix's knee. See, when a player has had ACL surgery in the past, the repaired ligament naturally becomes a little looser than a brand new, untouched ACL. This is normal for athletes. Thousands of players compete with this kind of laxity and never miss a single game. So what happened? When Penix sprained his PCL, that old looseness suddenly showed up more clearly on imaging. And the moment doctors saw that looseness, even though it wasn't new, the media jumped on it like it was breaking news. Instead of waiting for real medical confirmation, they pushed the scariest headline possible: partial ACL tear. But the truth? That looseness might have been there for months. Maybe even before the season started. And Penix was playing perfectly fine with it. So Dr. Chow basically said this: the ACL isn't the new problem, the PCL sprain just made the old ACL look worse. And honestly, that explains everything. This is why you listen to real specialists. Not panicked reactions. Not social media clips. Not random insiders making TikToks. Now here's the real downside, the part Falcons fans won't love. Since this is technically a injury, the recovery time will be longer. A PCL sprain needs rest, patience, and slow healing. Dr. Chow compared it to Brock Purdy's turf toe, something that looked small at first but became a several-week setback once it got aggravated the second time. And this is important, this does not make Penix fragile. This does not mean he has glass bones. This is completely normal in the NFL. Players re-aggravate things all the time, and the second injury always takes longer to heal. But now we reach the biggest question of them all. Will Michael Penix Jr. return this season? And this is where Dr. Chow gave a brutally honest answer. He said the odds are against it, not because Penix can't recover, not because the injury is scary or career-changing, but because the Falcons season might be too far gone by the time he's actually healthy. In simple words, his body might be ready. But the season might not be worth risking him. And that's the part that hits the hardest. But here's what matters most for every Falcons fan listening: Michael Penix Jr. did not suffer a new ACL tear. His main injury is a PCL sprain, annoying, painful, frustrating, but far less serious than the headlines made it sound. This is not season-ending doom. This is not a career threat. This is not the disaster people were screaming about. This is a setback, not the end. Now that we finally know the truth, Dr. Chow made something else very clear, and this part should calm every Falcons fan who has been losing sleep over Michael Penix Jr. Surgery is not expected. Could it happen? Yes, in a rare situation. But right now, all signs point to no surgery needed, which is huge news for a quarterback who has already fought through so much in his career. And he doubled down again on the biggest point of all: his ACL is not the problem. His career is not in danger. That whole ACL panic came from old looseness inside the knee, not a new injury, not a tear, not the disaster the media made it sound like. What Penix really needs is time. Time for the PCL to calm down. Time for the bone bruise to fade. Time for his knee to feel stable again. It's not dramatic, it's not a scary surgery situation, it's just a slow healing process. And honestly, this is one of those rare moments where the expert is actually more positive than the headlines. When does that ever happen? Almost never. Falcons fans needed this relief. They deserved a break from the non-stop bad news. This season has been heavy, full of frustration, full of questions, and the last thing they needed was to hear career-ending injury thrown around by people who didn't even understand what they were talking about. But here's the truth, plain and simple: yes, it hurts that Penix will be out. Yes, the timing is brutal. Yes, this changes the rest of the season. But no, this is not the end. No, this is not a career threat. No, this is not the nightmare the media made it out to be. If everything goes normally, if the knee heals like PCL sprains usually do, Penix should be back for training camp next year, ready to reset, ready to fight, and ready to take the field again in the black and red. So Falcons fans, breathe. For once, the expert brought good news. For once, the panic wasn't real. For once, the future actually looks brighter than the headlines say. And now it's your turn. How confident are you in Michael Penix Jr.'s future, from 1 to 10? Drop your number in the comments and tell us what you think.